Oh, spirituality. That word can conjure up so much for everybody. So, this week, my friends, it is about spiritual wellness. But what does spirituality mean? What does spiritual wellness mean? And that, of course, as all of these different wellnesses wheels that we're diving into, has to be determined by you. But spirituality really has very little to do with what we actually believe. It factors in, of course, but it really has more to do with our awarenesses, becoming aware of what's going on within us, becoming aware of what's going on around us. It's got so much to do with our values, right? Our core values. It's got everything to do with what's important to us. Right? It's aligning spirituality to me, in my opinion, is aligning with the truth of who we are. So, and a lot of people think spirituality is religious. No, really. I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. You can be religious, very religious, and you can be spiritual, and you can have no religion at all, and you can still be spiritual. So this week, the intention is to get very clear with, or become very aware and very conscious of what our personal values are, what's important to us. Okay, this is about aligning with our truth. So, this week, for some of us, this could be discovering what our core values are. And it's really important to, when we do this, discovering our core values, to really sit with it and ask ourselves some important questions like, are these, and this is where beliefs come in. Yes, that's why this is more about our values and what's important to us than our beliefs, because we could have been told to believe something. And so sitting with it and going, okay, well, is that still true for me? It's about getting in alignment with our own personal truth. This may have been something that I was led to believe, but is it true for me? And maybe it is. And then, yeah, well, then that's a really good core value for you, because the belief and what it feels like within you align, right? So, yeah. So this is about discovering what what is true for you, what feels right for you. Don't just jump to, well, this is what I believe. How does that feel within you? That's where we get to the core of who we are, what our truth is. And this aligns us with our spiritual wellness. And so then for some, it'll be about discovering what those core values are. And for others, it will be about revisiting the core values. Okay, so revisiting our core values, because I think it was about 15 years ago for me that I first, did my coaching course and discovered what my core values were. But over the years, I've revisited them. And in the revisiting of them, I've revised them so that they're more in alignment with who I am and what's important to me, because things are always changing. Or what's important to me 15 years ago is way different than what's important to me today. Okay, so when we know our core values, when we create our own core values, and that's key, we create our own core values. They weren't given to us. Okay, this is when we align with them daily. This is where the intention setting comes in. So align every day, every morning. If you're going, I don't get this intention setting, set an intention every single day to set yourself on the right path for your day. This comes down to aligning with your core values. Pick one, pick a few of your core values, and your daily intention is to align with them. Okay, so when we do this, our spiritual wellness begins to authentically come into alignment. So we're not trying to achieve spiritual wellness. We're not trying to, I'm a spiritual person. That spirituality comes into alignment when we discover our core values, when we create our own core values, when we get into alignment with what is important to us. Then we go out into our day with the intention to bring forth these core values and live our days. That means our decisions for that day, especially when you meet up with some tough decisions. What should I do? Right? Always go inward, align back in with those core values. Know your core values. And every day that you set intentions to become in line with them is another day that you react differently to certain situations or certain responses. Right? We can't control the outer environment, right? We can't avoid certain illnesses. We can't avoid, losing people we love in this life. We can't avoid pandemics. But when we align with our core values, there's this resilience that comes up. We can always show up every single day. We can make the decision to show up in alignment with my core values. And in that, right, my resilience grows. Right? So this is where, when we are very much in alignment with our core values, we can help support a new story we want to tell. Right? We've been diving into our, physical wellness, our emotional, our mental wellness, our connection, and we've discovered a lot of the stories. Right now, this week, we discover a lot of the stories that we have around spirituality, or what spiritual wellness means to us. And if you don't like any of those stories, any of them, this is the week that you can change that story. So, for example, for me, and this was one of my original core values 15 years ago. One of my core values is gratitude and appreciation. 15 years ago, I didn't feel very grateful for my life. I didn't feel very grateful for a lot of things. And I had a lot of things to be grateful for, but I had a lot of things going on in my life at that time that overshadowed, for me personally, that the things that I was grateful for. So I wanted to be more grateful. I really did, but I couldn't get past everything that was happening in my life at that time. So my focus was on the negative, not on the things that I could be grateful for. So I set a core value 15 years ago that I'm going to be more grateful. And I set that intention every day. And when you set that intention every day, it becomes more and more powerful. So slowly it went from, I wasn't a very grateful person, but I really wanted to be. And as I set intentions every day to become more grateful, it became who I am. So I wanted that at the core of my being. I knew I wanted to be more grateful. And so it was something that was really important to me. And being it, I set it as my core value. This was important to me. And as it's evolved, it is a part of who I am. I am grateful. I live in gratitude. So I was able to change my story by shining some light on, this is something that isn't in my life right now, but I want it to be. Okay, so we can support a new story by setting these core values. Okay, we can make tough decisions. I don't know what to do. Well, does this decision align with my core values? Oh, no, it doesn't. Well, then that's not what I do. Sometimes it's not so clear cut, but it's a tool to help. Okay, so there's so much more to these core values, so much more, but they're important for us to discover, to create. And if you have them, it's important for you to revisit them. Okay, so if you're not sure where to start, please contact me and we can get you set up in a private session so that you can find out, and maybe you have them and it's a process. Often it's a process, right? There's much to this. It's not just sit down and go, oh yeah, okay, this is my value, this is my value. There is a lot to it. It's about going inward. It's about bringing awareness, shining light to the stories you have and the stories you want to change and who it is that you want to be. Okay, so contact me so that we can get you set up with your in your core values, right? Or the personal development classes, of course, is more in a group setting. So you can join that, be a part of the group setting, or you can contact me and have it personal. Let's tap this in. Okay, so as we tap this in, we begin by moving our body. Okay, so let's bounce and shake. So this creates energy in our body. It starts to support good health and circulation in our body. So maybe health is one of your core values. Maybe movement or fitness is one of your core values, right? Interesting enough, that's not one of my core values anymore. It used to be, but that's one of the things that shifted. But movement, right from the get-go, you get in alignment with that core value. We can shake things out a little bit. So again, this is about becoming aware of what's going on inward. What's the story you tell yourself right now that just isn't serving you very well? Let's march things out. Is there a new story you want to tell? Where do you begin to shift that story that doesn't work for you? You start by developing some core values. Let's pick up the knee. And then every single day you set intentions. Once you get very clear what your core values are, like you create them. They're not something somebody has told you they should be. These are your core values that you create. Okay, tap in. Let's come right into the body. I like to tap down one leg and up. And once we tap into the physical body, we tap in those core values. It's like, yeah, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. This is the story I'm going to change. This is what I believe in. Then we set intentions. Let's just cross our energy here from one shoulder to the opposite hip. Rub your hands together and then tap in under your eyes. Ground and root yourself into your body. Right? Feel safe in your body and having those core values. You want to have about 5 key core values. Helps you to feel safe. It does. It helps you to feel safe in your body, in your life, in your relationships. Know what those core values are so you can set intentions every day to follow through with them to the best of your ability, right? Things come up in the day, but we do our best to stay in alignment with our core values. Okay, let's go to that K27 point. Okay, this gets all of the energy in our body moving in the right direction. So you get the energy moving. You know, I don't do it quite so much anymore, but I would take these 4 thumps and I would tap in what my core values were every single day until I knew them. I was tapping them into my body. So I get my energy moving in the right direction. I get my brain and my heart on board for what my core values are. And then I do my best to follow through with them throughout the day. This gets us in alignment with our spirituality, whatever that means for you. Okay, let's tap in that thymus. This for me was the gratitude, right? I tapped into my heart space. This is important to me to be more grateful, and I tap it into my heart center and breathe it in, and I'd start to think about all the things that I'm grateful for. So I took these core values. Maybe they were, years ago it was fitness. That was so much a core value for me. And I integrated that into my life fully and completely. It was also gratitude, but I wasn't completely there. So I would tap it in and start making new choices every day to support that. Okay, and then finally, we go to the 4th thump. So this metabolizes it all. So that's why these 4 thumps, right, under the eyes, that K27, the heart space, the thymus, and here, it's the spleen points, right? We metabolize it in. So you tap this in, you tap all of your core values in, you remind yourself what they are, you set your day, you tap them into your body, you metabolize them into your body. This, when we are in alignment with our core values, when we've created our own values, when we know what they are, then spirituality, our spiritual wellness just comes into alignment. We don't have to try so hard. We just stay in alignment. We can ask ourselves, is this alignment with my core values? Right? Let's cross that energy over again. So again, we got a couple of weeks of really diving into this spiritual wellness, because next week is a long weekend, so I won't be on here for a couple of weeks. So you got 2 weeks. Contact me if you want to get some help, a private session with getting really on board with I can help you create what your core values are. Okay, if you already know them, then revisit them and make sure, try them on for size, make sure they feel good in your body. Namaste, my friends. Namaste, my spiritual friends, whatever that means to you. You get to decide. You get to create the values that are going to get you in alignment with that. Have a wonderful week and an amazing day. Namaste.